Fired up footballers, James and Jeffrey here with you with another episode, as per usual. And what do we have to do today except to discuss the Backline edition? What is going on here?
So the Backline, probably one of the positions on the Chicago Fire that have been in the most flux, the most state of flux. I mean, we've seen so many different personnel, so many players. We've seen
formations:
four in the back, 3 in the back,
6 in the back.
Yeah, maybe sometimes 8 in the back when they're defending and parking the bus. But I mean,
Amoeba.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen Ellis as a center back. We've seen him as a right back. We've seen that with Kappelhoff. We've seen that with Brandon Vincent. So I mean, there's just so much going on in the defense. And it almost seems like the root of Pano's trust issues stem from that back line. So, James, what are you seeing from that back line?
I think you nailed it on the head. The biggest thing that Pano is playing is afraid because he does not trust his back line. So he has to play turtle-type tactics so what he thinks to do is to put his back line in the best position to win. Instead of maybe trying to pour on goals, he's just trying to prevent goals.
Yeah, by putting Basti in there. I'd even state that Basti was playing as a center back,
which doesn't make sense to me. I think if you've he's playing as scared. In some cases, defense wins championships. I absolutely agree with you there. But sometimes defense loses you games, and lack of offense doesn't score you goals. Yeah. And the only way you win in soccer is by scoring goals by more than the other team, and that's what you have to do.
Something like a high-powered offense can be almost a defense, like Atlanta United,
Liverpool back in the day.
That possession, just having possession, can act as like a way to defend.
Some Jose Mourinho teams where they own possession and they just take you out of the match.
Let me just say, I think Basti in the back is a huge detriment because we possess in our back half. I mean, I'm not even going in the X's and O's of defense. Mm-hmm. Just having him there in the center back, we possess in our back line with players that aren't adept to, building out of the back. Our defensive players, they're not built to
Johan
build
has passing ability.
Yeah, but they're not. Kevin Ellis, I'm sorry, look at his pass succession rate, not the best. But yeah, they're.
He's not a playmaker.
He's not. I think Basti back there drops possession back, and that hurts us. Now, it
takes our possession out of going forward and makes them concentrate on sticking with the playing in the back way, because that's where the focal point of their offense is right there in the back.
Yeah, where's Basti?
You move that focal point forward, then you're going to get more times in their final third. And the other big thing is deployment of the line. The line has got to be higher up.
The thing about Basti was running the line, and what player back there is going to, it's probably hard to step up and
can they run a high line?
Basti command that back line when he's doing a lot of the stuff. That's why it's so much better that he's out. For the sake of this episode, James, let's talk about right now what we think the best back line would look like. You want
having a 6-footer on there would be a start.
Oh, talk about that.
The past 2 games, there has not been a single 6-footer on the back line, and to me, that is unacceptable. But that is also Paunovic telling Nelson
he doesn't trust his players.
I think Pano has been studying Coach Quenneville. And Coach Quenneville's war with Stan Bowman. Because Stan Bowman gives players, Quenneville does not want and will not play, and get in his doghouse, and they never leave.
Pano's doghouse. Wow, Grant Lillard has been gone. I thought he looked pretty good.
He had one bad game of distribution.
Took him out.
Haven't seen him since.
And I thought Grant looked pretty good. Campbell. I mean, really, it comes with Campbell.
He's never trusted Campbell.
No, he's never trusted Campbell, and I really think it probably comes down to those 2 players, because Kappelhoff, he's not, a big vocal organizer back there. That's not really his role. I know he's tried to do it a little bit. So that's why, Campbell or Kappelhoff, Lillard, you were hoping could be the more vocal leader. And we saw that from Grant. I saw Grant communicating a little bit, distributing back there.
Being what they needed.
I would like to see Grant Lillard get back in there.
He doesn't trust him.
He doesn't.
So he's pulled him out.
It's like Tom Thibodeau with his rookies. Never played his rookies.
You get into his doghouse, and then you can't get out sometimes.
And it really stems from the center backs, because that's why Basti was playing as a center back. Kevin Ellis is playing as a center back. Brandon Vincent is playing as a center back. And
what about his trust in Richard Sanchez's ability?
Yes.
Maybe that also has to do with why he wants to shield that so much.
And the thing about our fullbacks, Kevin Ellis has been playing as fullback. Brandon Vincent, Corrales, Drew Connor a little bit in the beginning of the year. Daniel Johnson playing as like a wing back in that, when they were playing that system. So, I mean, there's just so much going on. I would like to just say, one of your phrases favorite phrase is keep it simple, stupid. I mean, in my mind, it just makes the most sense to have Brandon Vincent, who's a two-way defender in his best spot, playing left back. Grant Lillard, who's a true center back, 6-foot beast, right? Wins a lot of balls. Get him there. Showed some flashes. Cap, obviously that right center back. And then with Matt Polster out, Kevin Ellis has had a lot of opportunities. He just doesn't get forward enough for me. I think the Fire are finally in the stage of the season where their fullbacks can get involved like they were last year. And I think that's Drew Connor. Drew Connor is a little bit more two-way. He has more offensive flair, and he can get the job done defensively.
He's diligent.
So I would like to see that as my preferred backline as of now. And I think that would, we can defend well enough. We're still a little small. Really, Grant Lillard would be the only big, bruiser back there. But at least, we can get our width from our fullbacks, and they can get involved on offense.
I think some of Pano's decisions have been criminal, but they're also indicative of the level of players that he's getting from Nelson, that he has to feel that he has to play Brandon Vincent, his best left back, at center back, and sacrifice everything he has, and by playing Corrales and Ellis there.
Yeah.
Ellis is way more negative offense. Corrales is positive offense, negative defense.
Yes.
And I got to say, we've been clamoring for Drew Connor for weeks.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense that he has not been playing.
I agree. I think it's almost borderline egregious. I mean,
it's egregious.
He's given so many young guys opportunity, and here's Drew, who's been there forever, who's done well. It's time to get Drew back in there. It is. It's time to get Drew back in there, get him a start, or start subbing him in, and he deserves some time. I mean, he really does, especially when I think the biggest step back this year was our fullback play.
We have no
Brandon and Matt Polster.
That's where the offense comes
doing
from.
What they did last year. And that's a big part of the offense. So maybe Brandon, Drew Connor get involved. I would love to see him out wide.
So no wonder the offense is scoring, because their fullbacks are just not getting involved to the degree that they're used to.
Yeah.
And when David Accam took so much of the pressure away from Brandon Vincent too, that would allow Brandon and Matt to do a lot more of what they could do successfully, because he would just attract more attention. You don't have to circle guys on the Chicago Fire team. You don't have to circle.
You don't know what the roster's going to be.
You don't have to circle Alexander Katai, because Katai's consistency from game to game, he's going to be capable of a few moments of flash, but you as the opponent team, you know how lazy this guy is, and you know that you don't have to worry about him that. You know that he's not worried about. You just don't have to. You worry about Basti. You worry about where Basti is on the pitch.
And you have no fullbacks that get in behind a Greg Garza. A Graham Zuzi.
And this team.
Players that we've seen get involved and how valuable they are.
There's no pace.
Yeah, but anyways, James, I have no more thoughts. Anything for you?
We have to get some changes on here, but until we see maybe some new players join, maybe we won't, because Pano just does not trust this back line. And until he does, I think we're just going to have these results game in, game out, where it's just, it's a guess who it's going to be, guess the tactics, and we're going to play reactive soccer and try and cover up for our follies, cover up for our holes, rather than play to our strengths.
Exactly. There is a way. Even if you don't like your back line, if you're not comfortable with your back line, it doesn't make sense to have that ball in front of your goal. They finally, last game, they pressed. They started their defense higher up the pitch, so their defense wasn't as involved. They didn't have the ball. The ball was further away from their goal. That is how you help a struggling defense.
A struggling offense.
Let's have Basti sit here. So that the ball's in our half. Our defenders are on the ball a lot. It hurt them having Basti there. But last game, I think it helped moving Basti up. And now I just want to see the proper players be, brought in that starting 11 in that back line.
Absolutely. That's where I stand too. That's about it from us today on this topic. We'll go check out you guys for another episode of Spitting Fire as per usual. Give us a like if you enjoyed the conversation. And we'll see you guys later. Subscribe for more Spitting Fire. Comments below.
See you guys.